La noche se acabó, pero tengo otra vez contigo. Le doy gracias a Dios, siempre pasándolo contigo en la playa, devorarte como el sol de la mañana, viajando todo el día sin drama, solo tú y yo, un día bonito lleno de alcohol, tomar un shot pa' ti, un shot pa' mí, un shot, un día bonito lleno de alcohol, tomar un shot pa' ti, un shot pa' mí, un shot. Siempre lo pasamos bien lindo, lindo. Un verano contigo lindo, lindo. Me fui de vacaciones, baby, me perdí, buscando el sabor que encontré en ti. Canela con dolor de Bacardi, lo sentí, baby, me tiene desenfocado, viendo doble, bien borracho, demasiado jodido. Contigo, pasándome contigo en la playa, devorarte como el sol de la mañana, viajando todo el día sin drama. Tú y yo, un día bonito lleno de alcohol, tomar un shot pa' ti, un shot pa' mí, un shot. Un día bonito lleno de alcohol, tomar un shot pa' ti, un shot pa' mí, un shot. Un día bonito, bonito, un día bonito, bonito. Pasándolo contigo en la playa, devorarte como el sol de la mañana, viajando todo el día sin drama, solo tú y yo. Un día bonito lleno de alcohol, tomar un shot pa' ti, un shot pa' mí, un shot. Un día bonito lleno de alcohol, tomar un shot pa' ti, un shot pa' mí, un shot. Un día bonito lleno de alcohol, tomar un shot pa' ti, un shot pa' mí, un shot.
Hi everyone. All right, can everyone in the chat hear me? Just give me a one if you can hear me, please. We have a lot to discuss today. Okay, and I also have Lightside with me today, so you're not just going to hear my voice, you're going to hear Lightside as well. Lightside's going to be coming in hot. Lightside, say hi to everyone.
Hi, everyone. Good evening. It's been a minute. Hope everyone is doing well. Yeah.
Hope everyone is doing well and hope everyone is ready. This is not the podcast I was expecting to do today. Like, I had a few kind of light things left over that I didn't get to talk about because I didn't do a podcast yesterday. And then this, just wow. All right, let's just do a quick rewind, and then we will get on to the main story of today. Obviously, the article came out in People yesterday about the findings of the Senetebale debacle, and then Harry's followed up with a statement, and there's a couple of other things. So welcome everyone. Let's get started. Carol Lunn, thank you for being a member for 33 months. Much appreciated. Appreciate you all. Okay. Let's start with, before we get into the juicy stuff. So Meghan did eventually post a birthday message on her personal Instagram. She said, she said, blowing out the candles on a beautiful 24 hours and thanking my husband, friends, and family for making it so special. To those of you I don't know, but who send love every day, thank you so much. Please know I feel it and appreciate it. And just to get a little foodie on you, this dinner last night at Funk LA with the culinary mastery of Ivan Funk and his team is the top 5 meals of my life. Extraordinary. Thank you for a standout dining experience. I wonder if that chef will be featuring on With Love Meghan. Maybe a clue, who knows? But that's where she had her dinner. I did check out their Instagram and the food does look phenomenal. And she had so many birthday messages from so many people. And I'm just glad to know she had a fantastic 24 hours, not just her birthday, celebrating 44. What an amazing milestone, you know. Aging is a privilege, but also the As Ever Rosé second drop. They definitely seem like they've got a bigger batch of stock for this one, even just based on the photos. Let's have a look. I got photos from the As Ever. Look at the amount of corks. So it definitely seems like there was a much larger batch and it's still actually available. Somebody wrote this. Observation from my As Ever Rosé order, there is now a queue. The website updated quick, like one refresh, and it was open Afterpay. So is Afterpay, is that kind of like Klarna or ClearPay? I got several options for pickup, which weren't listed the first go round. That's great. And also wine start shipping today. So great improvements already. It seems like people have ordered with a little bit more ease this time. Also some ideas for your As Ever Rosé, if you don't want to just gobble it down. Popsicles. And also this is the picture from Daniel that he posted. So cute. All right. So that's all of the nice stuff. Meghan had a great birthday. We had a great time celebrating her birthday. And then this, I have to say, I do think the time, I don't know, coincidence or conspiracy, you decide. The timing of all of this, also very interesting. But yes, regarding the Senetebale Charity Commission report. And Lightside has done a little bit of digging on the Charity Commission, who I am highly suspicious of now. But I'm going to read this article from People, and then we will discuss. So let's just get this up. Give me one moment. So Prince Harry breaks silence with emotional statement after Senetebale scandal findings go public. The Charity Commission found no evidence of widespread or systematic bullying or harassment, including misogyny or misogynoir, following an investigation. Prince Harry is speaking out following the conclusion of an investigation into the non-profit he co-founded nearly 2 decades ago alongside Prince Siso of Lesotho, and says that despite the absence of any finding that he engaged in wrongdoing, the damage is already done. On August 5th, the Charity Commission for England and Wales announced it found no evidence of widespread systematic bullying, harassment, or misogyny or misogynoir at Senetebale, following an investigation into claims made by charity's current chair, Dr. Sophie Chandauka. The commission also found no overreach by either Chandauka or Prince Harry, who stepped down as Senetebale's patron in March, following what he described as a breakdown in leadership. However, the commission criticised all sides for allowing the conflict to play out publicly and cited poor internal governance and failure to resolve disputes internally severely impacted the charity's reputation and risk undermining public trust in charities more generally. Excuse me, who's the one that went running like an unfed alley cat to every single media organization in the UK? Who's the one that went running to Sky News, to the Times, to anyone who would talk to her? And even they were very suspicious of her. So this is the first thing that makes me very suspicious of this so-called Charity Commission, criticizing all sides for allowing the conflict to play out publicly. We know that initially they gave Sophie the chance to resolve this privately so that it wouldn't damage the reputation of Senetebale, despite the fact that she has done so much damage. And then they go on to say failure to resolve disputes internally severely impacted the charity's reputation and risk undermining public trust in charities more generally. How is one dispute with one particular charity going to undermine public trust in charities more generally? Like, that is a lot to be putting on Harry's charity, especially when we know exactly who is at fault here. Sophie has barely been able to raise $100 since this thing started. Well, to be honest, we don't even know exactly how much she has raised since this hostile takeover happened, but at least from the donation pages that they have put up, and no one barely donated $100. And why would they? Why would they, when it is so clear to anyone what has gone on here? Now, I want you to bear in mind, in all of this is the same charity commission, and this is another reason I'm so suspicious, that decided against launching an investigation into the donation of about 2.5 million in cash to one of Prince Charles's charities. The charity's regulator says it has no plans for any intervention following reports of the cash donation from a former Qatari prime minister. So this is the same charity that is saying people are going to lose trust in charities because of what's happened in Senetebale, but they didn't put any sanctions on Charles's charity for this rather suspicious 2.5 million in cash donation. There had been claims cash was handed over in suitcase and carrier bags. A senior royal source said that such large cash donations would no longer be accepted. Well, clearly these people have never heard of crypto, because who's running around giving people cash money bags? Clearly you're trying to hide something. You only give that amount of money in cash when you're trying to hide something. A Charity Commission spokeswoman said, "We have assessed the information provided by the charity and have determined there is no further regulatory role for the Commission." After somebody handed Charles 2.5 million in cash money bags, there's no further regulatory role for the Commission. The charity watchdog said it had no concerns about the governance of the Prince of Wales's charitable foundation and that trustees had submitted information via a serious incident report which had given sufficient assurance that due diligence had taken place. This is the same charity commission that did the investigation on Senetebale. Just remember that. Lightside, do you want to say anything?
Yeah, thanks for that summary, Anne. I believe that I feel, I'm sorry, I'm trying to like get my thoughts together.
No,
It
take your
has
time.
been a rough 2025 so far. And I say that because with everything that's going on, I don't know if anyone else feels this, but everything that's going on in the world, it just kind of feels like the bad people are winning right now. And I'm being very vague with that, but it feels as though the light that we would like to see in people and the optimism and the faith for doing good, like those people are still very much there, but they're currently being overshadowed and clouded over by individuals and organizations and people in power that can do certain things behind the scenes, pull strings that don't overtly look illegal and make things happen. And I think one thing that stuck out with this with these articles over the last 2 days is the sense, and I know you're going to go into this a little bit more later, is the sense that I
Oh yeah,
believe.
I've only read half the article. Sorry, but carry on.
Right. Yeah, I'm not going to give any details. It's just the sense that there's something else there that is worth mentioning and talking about that isn't being presented, right? And something that would potentially change decision making. And so I think that I like all of us that support Harry and Meghan, especially when it comes to public service like this, we just want to see organizations, nonprofit organizations that are doing good to just thrive and do well. And I think what's for all of us, I think what makes this so much more painful is that this charity was done in their mother's name, both for
Yeah,
King Prince Soso and Prince Harry. Right? It's
yeah.
kind of like you and like if you had like a family member that meant so much to you, that had such a strong impact on your life, and you
Mm,
decided to create something from the ground up for them, a living memory of them, and just for that to be extended and carried on over generations, the meaning of that is more than what you could put dollar signs on. So that's just my thought on that right now. Um,
yeah, yeah.
but
Thank you for
staying
that.
optimistic. Yeah, definitely just staying optimistic and like thinking of the Sussex Squad.
Oh, um, Lightside has disappeared. She disappeared just for me. Okay, we'll let
Can
Lightside
you
sort out her. Oh, yeah. Are you there now?
Yeah, I think I can't move too much. I'm just gonna say
Yeah,
something really quickly.
you disappeared for a sec, but go on. Yeah.
The Gremlins. Oh my god. Um, I think of the Sussex Squad, and I know that we do a lot of fundraising and stuff, and I had this crazy thought about, is it possible to kind of help them bring the charity back to life? Not this one,
Mm,
but
yeah.
something. Yeah. Anyway, yeah.
Well, now that since you've said that, I'll just skip ahead and just say it now before I carry on reading the rest of the article. But the squad has raised um money for Senetebale in the past to the tune of almost $150,000. And I am so sure that the other big donors can see through all of this nonsense. I'm sure they're very devastated too. And I'm sure they would very much want to get back involved in the spirit of Senetebale and what it was set up for as well. So whenever Harry is ready to restart this, um, we'll be there, and I'm sure they will be there as well. And in fact, I'm sure, as horrible as all of this is, it is actually the most PR Centre Ballet has probably ever gotten in its entire history. So I'm sure there's probably even more people who are looking at this and going, "We want to support this." And I said this when this story first um, broke, and I said, whatever is going to come of this, Harry and Prince Yiso can rebuild, and I am so sure it is going to be 10 times, 10 times more what they had going with Senetebale, because God doesn't play around. What Sophie and all these other trustees that came on board did was evil. It is the devil's work, but good people can see straight through it. So I have no doubt whatsoever that Harry's going to rebuild, will be right there to support, and other good people who have seen this play out will be right there to support as well. It's just unfortunate that this has happened the way it has happened, and I think it's just going to have to play out, and Sophie's just going to have to be exposed. And they may even possibly have to sue her privately outside of the charity commission before we get to that point. But we will have a rising from the ashes. I have no doubt about that. And with the Santa Bale fiscal reports, they do have to by law release them, and we're gonna see what's gonna come out in those reports. Sandy Sussex posted, based on the 2023 Centre Barley annual report, event income made up about 47.3% of all income, and institutional funding was 33.4%. Institutions won't touch fake Dr. Sophie with a barge pole, and with Harry out, so is the polo event. The fake doctor has wiped out over 80% of Centre Barley's income. Before I go on to the next part, Lights, did you want to add anything?
No, I think you covered everything, and I'm glad you said that. I really am, because I 100% agree that the eyes are now on this charity. more than any other time before. And I think that's a good thing, even though this is not such a great situation.
Yeah.
And I believe
Yeah.
that the supporters will step up as well as us to kind of back them when that time comes.
Indeed. Okay, so to carry on with the People article, in a statement responding to the findings, a spokesperson for Prince Harry said, unsurprisingly, the Commission makes no findings of wrongdoing in relation to Senetebale's co-founder and former patron, Prince Harry, the Duke of Sussex. They also found no evidence of widespread bullying, harassment, or misogyny or misogynoir at the charity, as falsely claimed by the current chair. Despite all that, the report falls troublingly short in many regards. Primarily, the fact that the consequences of the current chair's actions will not be borne by her, but by the children who rely on Senetebale's support. A source tells People that Prince Harry and Prince Yiso see no way back to the charity while Chanduka is in place, but that they are keeping their options open. Both Prince Harry and Prince Yiso are devastated by what has effectively been a hostile takeover by Sophie Chanduka. The source close to the former trustees and patrons said this was Prince Yiso and Prince Harry's life work. They established it 19 years ago and put their blood, sweat, and tears and their own money into building this charity up to what it was, a multi-million-pound charity that delivered nothing but good for the community that it was supposed to support. In a separate statement, Senetebale's former trustees expressed disappointment on the Commission's findings, saying key issues they raised about the charity's leadership had been overlooked. We are disheartened by the way in which the Charity Commission has chosen to ignore key concerns and irrefutable evidence raised with them regarding the leadership and oversight of Senetebale's chair. The statement read, "We accept there is always room to strengthen governance of an organisation, which is why we welcomed a governance review by the chair initiated in February of 2024, and that should have only taken a matter of months. We unfortunately never saw a report or any outcomes enacted more than 2 years into her tenure. We remain gravely concerned for the future of the charity and the well-being of the communities we served for 19 years, following the mission set out by Prince Harry and Prince Yiso in honor of their mothers." You know, we're going to end up with a Netflix documentary, Surviving Sophie Chanduka. Like, I just know there's a journalist somewhere, like some Ronan Farrow journalist somewhere, and some Netflix producer somewhere, rubbing their hands together to get to the bottom of this. Don't forget, there is still the matter of the fact that Sophie's so-called Nandi Sciences, that mysterious biotech that she had going, that's disappeared from the internet. She also has a history of bankrupting charities. No one's even looked into that. And then there's the matter of the board of trustees that she brought on to replace the last board. Half of them disappeared, and then some of them, it appears, were given money. There's still all of that. And somehow the Charity Commission hasn't mentioned or looked into any of that in their report. I think that this is going to have to go in the direction of them somehow suing her. But I don't know. I don't know what the law is regarding these things. So I don't know what they would even be suing her for or what legal channels they can take. But there's no way that you can just take over a charity like this and play, monopoly with other people's money. Like I said, I don't know what the law is, but there's got to be something they can sue this woman for, or else everybody would be doing this, no? Okay, so goes on to say, Senetebale's current board said it accepted the Charities Commission's findings and committed to carrying out the regulator's recommendations. In a statement, the organisation said it supported the Commission's regulatory action plan issued to address their internal dispute policy, improve the charity's complaints and whistleblowing procedures, and establish clear processes for delegating authority. The Commission will monitor progress in the action plan, which includes timescales. Senetebale noted, however, that the Commission has not investigated any individual allegations and therefore has not made any findings in relation to individuals, including Prince Harry. The issues not investigated by the Commission can and may be dealt with through avenues more appropriate than the Commission. Chanduka herself said, "I appreciate the Charity Commission for its conclusions, which confirm the governance concerns I raised privately in February 2025. The experience was intense and it became a test of our strategic clarity and operational resilience. Absolute nonsense. Um, Saying that Senetebale has continued to support young people in Lesotho and Botswana, Chanduka said, I thank everyone, I thank every dedicated colleague and the courageous new board members who have stayed focused on the mission in the face of unprecedented media glare. I mean, who made that media glare even worse? It was her. She literally went on Sky News. Um, the unexpected adverse media campaign that was launched by those who resigned on the 24th of March 2025 has caused damage and offers a glimpse of the unacceptable behaviors displayed in private. This lady's going to get her karma so bad. We are emerging not just grateful to have survived, but stronger, more focused, better governed, boldly ambitious, and with our dignity intact. I'm surprised that there's no one on the ground who has said anything. Maybe they're trying not to make the situation worse. But like not even a local journalist. Like what's actually happening on the ground with this charity? I'm curious to know. Okay, Sophie's statement is stupidly long. I'm not going to read the rest of it. What else? Is there anything else that? No, that's pretty much. Yeah, the article just goes on to basically regurgitate everything that kind of happened following the initial resignation. But on Twitter, this was happening. Let me just get this on the screen. The Senetebale social media channels are still running. So this guy called Rupert Myers, he tweeted this. He said, how is it remotely reasonable that Prince Harry can be cleared of such serious allegations, but the person who made them remains in a post? So Senetebale actually then respond. Oh gosh, I have actually put the wrong tweet up. Okay, so the middle tweet was meant to be Senetebale's response. I am sorry. I'm gonna find it. Okay, I'm gonna have to find it on my phone. I do apologize. Senetebale responded by saying, yes. So they responded to Rupert by saying, hi Rupert, sharing the below for more clarity. It provides Senetebale with some degree of reassurance that the Charity Commission has not identified widespread bullying. So they basically just regurgitate what the Charity Commission said. So, but that doesn't, like, Rupert's statement still stands. How is she still there if Harry was cleared? Because that means that there was no proof. How is she still there? And how is her board that she put in afterwards, how are they still there? And Sophie herself said that emails, documents, text messages would prove Harry guilty. Did she not say that? Also, just to refer to the tweet in the middle, this was also another tweet that Senetebale put out. One of the things that they wrote was youth leading the fight against HIV. This is a very recent post, by the way. Didn't Sophie say in the interview that HIV was no longer a problem and that they were now focusing on the environment? But Senetebale is still tweeting about this. They're also blocking people, by the way. Okay, was there anything? Okay, I don't think there was anything else that I wanted to say. So, Lightside, did you want to?
Yes, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. It's like holding it
Go on.
in. I'm like, I know she got something else to say. Please let me know if I go out again. I'm going to try to avoid
Yeah.
that from happening. I think my microphone is picking up on my voice audio and taking it as prompts and shutting it down.
Okay.
Okay, so let's for a second let this marinate with Sophie. Okay, to your point with this post, with I believe he's a journalist. I'm not sure, Rupert.
Mm,
Um,
mhm,
he made a good point, as you said. How is it possible if we are going into this and in one organization you have a split down the middle, and one half of that organization or one representation of that, they're saying they bullied me. They tried their hardest to get me out of here and they were not working with me. They didn't give me the resources that I needed in order to make things happen. While the other side is saying, we haven't seen any reports for 2 years. We haven't seen anything. We don't know what's going on. We've requested this information and it hasn't been presented to us. And so we
yeah.
have concerns, right?
Mhm,
Legitimate. And in addition, the other side is saying, um, you know, there's evidence and this will show that I'm not guilty and they bullied me and they bullied me and they bullied me. I'm going to come back to the bullying part. And you have this board, which I'm going to touch on a little bit. You have this board of commissioners for this charity, and they look at the platter of what was presented to them. And I have to say, when I was digging on this, like these are individuals that not only have had experience doing work with multiple charities. So they've seen like the breadth and the range of organizations that are charities themselves, and they
mhm,
understand the workings of charities, right? They should know a doctor, a lawyer, anyone in their profession, if they've been in it for a minute, they understand the parameters of what should and shouldn't be. So I'm saying these people know what they should be looking for, and they should be
mhm,
able to spot a red herring when they see it. And they come out and say, we don't see any bullying from Prince Harry's side. We don't see
mhm,
that they were doing anything to obstruct Sophie. None of
mhm,
those claims are legitimate. He's completely absolved of it, right? So Harry
mhm,
is, as far as we know, not culpable whatsoever in any of these. And so, what does that tell you? If you have someone that's making these accusations, and there's legitimate concern for which Harry's side and the individuals representing the charity and some of those board members or trustees that have stepped back, who also have concerns about the path and the future steps of this organization. If they are saying that there's some things that we're seeing that are just not adding up, wouldn't individuals who have had experience doing charity work take a look at that and say, they have a
mm,
point here? We haven't seen a report documented as well. This is unusual because you know what, when it comes to nonprofit organizations, they're run a little bit differently, but you still have to be careful about people ripping those off. You have to be worried and concerned about people taking money when they shouldn't have. And for an individual like her, with her history and track record, there is concern there. I'm not saying Harry and his team were suspicious of her actions. I'm saying from a baseline level, if you are looking at nonprofits and charity organizations where a lot of money is coming in and you have a high profile individual as the face, you're going to want to make sure, if you're a responsible person and you want your charity to survive, you want to be able to look at the numbers and look at where the money is going and how things are flowing so that you can
mhm.
continue doing it. And they're saying Harry and his folks, they're good. What about Sophie? So how is it that they are not talking about her piece, and how is she coming out and
Yeah.
gaslighting Harry's side and saying, thank you for that result. Thank you for your ruling. I 100% agree. I'm glad because it's been so hard to be able to work with what we've had and to move forward. And it just shows that we're resilient
Yeah, because
without
what
even,
what 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 she's basically saying is, what, thank you for proving Harry's innocent after I said he was guilty of bullying me?
right. Hmm. Exactly. What does that mean? What about your claims about bullying? If you stood on that so boldly on these talk shows, you went on talk
Yeah.
shows. She was so passionate about how they tried to like not include her in things and not give her resources and how it was unprofessional. And the other thing that I don't like about the ruling in this is the claim by the board members and the commissioner saying, oh, you guys should have figured this out. I don't understand why this was left to go for so long. You should have worked things out amongst yourselves. And in addition to that, you've publicized this whole thing to make it a huge
Mm,
mess. Who was responsible for putting this stuff out there and going on TV shows and making these
yeah.
claims? Okay?
Was
I want
her.
everybody to think about who that person is.
Mhm. 100% it
So
was her.
exactly. So this is ridiculous, and you're right, something smells here. And in addition to that, I did a really quick run through for the current charity commissioners. Half of them don't really come up on the internet so much, but there is two of them that popped up. And let me know if you're going to talk about this later, because I can wait if you want me to
No, no,
hold
no.
on.
Go.
Okay.
No, go for it now. Go for it now.
So there are two individuals that came up during my review of the commissioner's board, because I started wondering, when you start seeing like when you start seeing judges in general, or anyone with high power that are responsible in the decision making processes for big decisions, start making rulings that are like, wait, where are you going with this, and how is this even possible? You have to start asking questions. And so I looked into a couple of these individuals. The first one that popped out was the name Rory Brooks. Okay, this person, I don't know yet, correct me if I'm wrong and jump in if you know these. There are CBEs, and there's another one that is given OBEs by
Mhm.
the royal organization, right? Or King Charles, or now Prince William has been doing them. But he received one, and Rory Brooks is listed as a member of this commissioner board. There are several of them on the board. He's known as a philanthropist, but he's also a founder of a private equity group for which he
Mhm.
is the chairman of. The name of this group is called Quintessentially Foundation, another charity, right? And he has other charities, but this particular one is an equity group. So remember Quintessentially Foundation. He is also known as a co-founder for this organization. And in addition to that, so I'm thinking like, okay, do they have any connections with the royal family aside from whatever award they were given, right? That we already know of. And it turns out that Ben Elliott is also a co-founder of Quintessentially Foundation. Ben Elliott is the nephew of Camilla, direct
Wow,
nephew of
light
Camilla.
side. Wow, light side. That
So
is
I'm
some great
thinking,
digging that you've done.
so if you guys know about power in politics or power in any kind of situation, you'll understand that you'll have
Mm,
certain people that are placed in specific places. And there are individuals that may have more pull with other members that are on certain boards. And if they have connections, you already know how that goes. We've seen it played out. I am not saying that he is tainted, but it is very suspect
yeah.
that you have such a close connection with someone so high up, especially someone as sketchy as her, that we know she's done dirt in the past, you know?
Mhm.
So that was just something really kind of that stuck out to me. And the other person that popped up was Mark Sims. He popped up in UK tabloid press in the Daily News a couple months ago, actually in April. He was given his OBE just last year, approximately almost a year from now. August, he got
Mm,
it in June 2024, but he also received an OBE. Now, this guy seems to be a little more, we would say, liberal here in the US. Like, he has certain views that doesn't seem to be too contradicting, but the papers actually brought him to light briefly in April because he had some standings and positions that they were in disagreement with. And actually this guy went ahead and deleted his entire platform where he had been tweeted out a bunch of different things, and maybe would have given a larger platform of what his political views were or ideas on certain things. So, again, I don't know what these individuals are hiding or how much influence they have in certain aspects, but
mm,
we kind of just, when it comes to stuff like this, if they're saying that more investigation needs to be done and they're not making the decision where they are
mm,
on the commissioners board, and they're leaving room for further investigation to happen, I believe that that needs to happen because something just really stinks here. And I
yeah.
would really hate for this charity, which I know is half of Harry's heart right now, to not have a fight while it's going down under this individual that just came in, and within what she came in, what, in 2020 or the end of
Yeah.
2020. It hasn't been that long. How do you come in and just completely destroy an organization that could be helping so many people because you have your own selfish needs
Yeah.
that you want to push, right?
Yeah. Thank you so much for doing that investigative work. I think because I will mention this again in tomorrow's podcast, kind of like once I've got screenshots of everything. But thank you so much for that light side because I hadn't even had time to look into that, and I think that is a very very interesting links that you've made because with these powerful people, like you said, there is very much that 6 degrees of separation. And it is, with everything that you've said, it's also rather suspicious that Ian Rowlingson, who sat with Sophie Chanduka in that Sky interview and who is still on the board of trustees now, he's also linked to William through another charity. I believe it's through the Tuss Trust. So I think there's a lot more about this that's going to come out. And by the way, Ben Elliott is not only just linked to who was it? You said, was it Rory Brooks with Quintessentially
Yeah,
Foundation?
Rory. Yep.
He's also he was the co-chairman of the Conservative Party at one point. So he also has links to government.
Yeah.
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 Wow.
I'm gonna hold my bullying comment until later, but please proceed. I know you have something else to say.
Okay, I will just well, I actually don't have too much to say, but I was gonna read a couple of comments and then you can I will let you come in. Legs, thank you so much for the super chat. You said nothing about her financial involvements, nothing about alleged embezzlement into her companies, nothing about the Black British Awards debt. Not yet. This is why I think this will probably go the way of the private courts. But the damage is, it's done to Senetebale. And I think in the end, that was the whole point of this. But as we've seen at every single turn, it doesn't matter what they've tried to do to Harry and Meghan, it always blows up back in their face. Kenneth, you said the charity commission hasn't mentioned Sophie Janduka's misuse of funds. Shouldn't she be taken to court? She absolutely should be. Mina, you said Sophie the scammer will be getting her karma. I absolutely believe that she will. Legs, you also said under the leadership at the Black British Business Awards, she left them in debt. I believe that is why she saw Senetebale as a money grab. Ian Rowlingson was owed money because of her stitch up. Yes. Legs, you also said they will need to register the charity in the US. Nothing can be trusted in the UK. Yeah, I think if they start this again, better do it in the US or underneath Archwell's umbrella. Bone Mighty, I'm in favor for a new charity. I will wholeheartedly support it. Absolutely. I will drag Tina literally out of her podcasting sleep. And I will say, we are going to do, the OGs remember this. We are going to do another 12-hour podcast. Those of you who were with us back in the OG days, we did a 12-hour podcast and we raised tens of thousands. I am literally unprepared to do that again. I will drag Tina, I will drag Michelle, I will drag all the OGs back and we will do the biggest squaddy fundraiser we have ever done.
That would be incredible.
Yeah. No, I'm saying you can all hold me to it. Whenever Harry is ready and Prince Iso is ready, whatever they're gonna do, we're here. This is disgusting what Sophie Chanduka and her minions have done. They're gonna run Senetebale to the ground and we're gonna build it back up whenever the time is right. Light side, yeah, you can go ahead and say what you wanted to say.
Yeah, I want to bring something to the forefront for this. I know you guys remember when Anne covered this whole unfortunate situation with Sophie and the announcement from Harry and Prince Sisu about their split, right? And the reasoning being the concerns for the management of the charity. I know that a couple of you guys were on that podcast, and I remember and touched on a couple of things, including the polo event for which Meghan had showed up on, and she had commented, Sophie had commented at one point saying that she was not informed that Meghan was gonna be there, right? I think we talked about this a little bit, and Anne was like, "Well, why would you need to know? that's that's his wife, and he's very much a part of the business, decision making process, right?" And I think Anne also brought up a very good point, which is there's safety concerns, especially around her, considering that you have
Yeah.
these stalkers that travel all the way across from the other side of the pond just to pop up. And even though they hate watch, is what I call, they hate watch, they can't help themselves, and they got to know exactly what's going on with them because she sells the papers and brings in the bread and butter for them.
Mm-hmm.
And in that instant, when Sophie was talking about Meghan, it did not go over my head that she also threw in the bullying claim. And she
Mm.
didn't exactly say Meghan bullied her. She said that she was bullied. And whenever I see this, and I'm not diminishing Harry's pull or his presence, because this is Harry's baby. I respect that, I acknowledge it. But we know that when we think of Harry, we think of Meghan. And when we think of Meghan, we think
Mm-hmm.
of Harry. And so when she used that term, that bullying phrase that she used, it was a trigger for me because that is the same
Mm.
words and the same language they used to attack Meghan on numerous occasions while she was
Yeah.
there in the royal family, right?
It's almost like she was reading off a script, right?
Yes, yes. Yeah. She was in alignment and there was a script and she needed to follow it because they need to still tie her to that accusation. And you know what? We she has shown herself to be who she is. Like I think the good thing about people and in seeing Megan's Instagram account and what she's doing and that she's definitely a hard worker. She lives up to that and who she's been most of her life, right? Is that, you know what, this I don't understand why people hate this girl. I've seen so many random people who don't know her say, I don't understand where the hate is coming from. And that's
Mm-hmm.
that's the silver lining for her being able to be able to be freely expressive on her platforms on her time when she wants to. But what will always be there, what will always be, it's kind of like when you go through a traumatic situation, it doesn't matter if you get through that, that memory will always be with you. And I think that
Mm.
that title of or the accusation of her being a bully from the time that even the queen and the royal folks like did an investigation and the result came out and they did not publish it, they can literally still tug on that claim that she was a bully because we don't know what was actually the culmination of that. We haven't seen the printing of the report. They can say whatever they want and make up whatever they want and say that the reason why it wasn't published was because the queen and was trying to protect Meghan, right? That she really
Mm-hmm.
was a bully. She really was a bully, and they couldn't do that to her, and we're really doing her a favor. When in reality, what it likely said was that there are individuals a part of that royal organization that did things that they should not have done, and that she was falsely
Yeah.
accused, just like how she was falsely accused when they said that she made Kate cry. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm especially triggered with the fact that Sophie, during that exposition that she had, used that claim on a talk show, like literally trash segment on UK TV, because I guarantee you they were associating Meghan still with that bullying accusation. And she's so closely tied with
Yeah.
Harry that she must have done something to make this thing not work out. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I think you've raised some very good points. Like it's just so many paths seem to lead back to the palace with this somehow. And everything from the very beginning has just been so shady. Um and I think with time, as they always do, things will come out, and more is going to start to slowly leak. And and like I said, I will revisit what you've said um tomorrow once I've got time to put some new slides together, because I think you've definitely hit on something light side. I don't think nothing can be by accident. Someone made a very interesting comment about. Oh, by the way, I'm not going to do the Andrew story in this podcast because I feel like we're going on almost an hour. I'll talk about it tomorrow. But someone made a very interesting comment about Invictus, and he said, Quinn, I believe that on Royals, especially William, is going to try and take Invictus games from Harry in 2027. If they try to do that, it will be one of the dumbest things that I think the Unroyals have ever done. And they've done some pretty dumb things already. Fumbling the bag with Harry and Meghan. But to piss off the veteran community, to try and sabotage Invictus, I mean, if we're not already at the beginning of the end for these people, that will truly be the beginning of the end. Because the military community, I don't think they're gonna stand for that. Light side, because it's just, I mean, I am getting a little bit worried now about the Invictus being in Birmingham.
So you think they're trying to boycott because they know that Invictus is gonna potentially occur there, or do you think there could be riots and an uproar with the decision that's happened?
I think the military community will be very upset and likely very
Hmm.
vocal if they try to pull anything. Because with Senetebale, it's like they've been so like backdoor and underhanded. Like you didn't even see this coming.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
what would they try to pull with Invictus? Because they've made it very obvious that they have no interest in supporting Invictus at all. I think there was like 2 Invictuses ago, I think the athletes had to go on coaches. Like we couldn't even get Ryanair, so I mean Ryanair is Irish. We couldn't even get British Airways to like sponsor the athletes. At one point, I think they hadn't even they'd barely sent any representatives. Nobody showed up to the St. Paul's service. So there's clearly a lot of jealousy in the
Hmm.
palace regarding Invictus. So I'm just thinking, will they try to do something? Seeing what is happening with Senetebale now, and
Yeah,
being that we're very suspicious that it
yeah.
could be linked to the palace, will they try and do something to sabotage Birmingham Invictus? Because I am truly now concerned
Especially because
about
it's gonna be
Invictus being
there.
in Birmingham. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. No, no, I see your point. Yeah, I, I, I think it's possible. I think they're trying to cut Harry's legs from under him. I think that
Yeah.
Sentabali was like again, I'll say it was a huge part of he loved what he did and what he built, and there was a friendship and something a lot deeper with this organization. So I think that it hurts him more than we can ever understand because we're not directly talking to him. But
Mm,
Invictus is another one of his baby, and I think that they will continue trying to destroy them.
mm,
If they can hurt both of them through either one of them, they're going to do it. And
mm,
so I agree with you. I think that we have to just keep a watchful eye. It may not be as overt as we might expect it. It could come in the form, as you said, of funding being pulled, of things not following through the way they should, mishaps happening. I hope that they have a good team that can check all of those little spots to make sure that doesn't happen. But at the same time, I do believe that Harry and Meghan are making, really good relationships where they are in the California. And I think that if God forbid, if anything like that were to happen, if they can hear about it early enough, there would be other individuals that would be able to chip in and support it so that it could
mm,
continue. Because yes, I agree with you. I think especially like, maybe Charles still the fact that he's still here, maybe he's been a buffer between the other one, who I shall not name, that has the scruffy beard that needs to go. I think Charles has been a buffer between him and the real prince that he's copying, Harry, in
mm.
trying to attack him. And I think once Charles goes, like, I'm
Yeah.
wondering who's gonna check him. No, am I the only
There's
one who's
no
thinking about this?
I don't that's the thing, like who's gonna check him? It doesn't seem like there's anyone to check him. I mean, and remember how quickly when Betty died, Charles replaced the palace staff. Like William, it won't even be 24 hours. He'll be telling them, pack your bags, get out. He will replace all the courtiers. He's already got Jason Knopf in his back pocket. Simon Case might miraculously be cured of his so-called neurological issues, whatever it is that he's taken a break from, and come suddenly reappear again. Like, there's going to be no one to check William. He is very, very clear that he is ready to be a domineering, revenge-seeking king. And it's going to be a disaster. I think the only person that might check him is Camilla. Now, Camilla, she has forged incredible relationships with the tabloids. But what does checking the king look like? Getting your lackeys in the press to write messy stories about him. You're basically just putting the house on fire, and you're in the house.
I don't know. Would you put it past her?
I mean, I wouldn't put it past her, but it's like, what's the end
point of
result?
burning it down? Yeah,
Yeah, what's the end result here?
because
Like,
she can't
who?
ever take power. She can't ever hold that position. Even if Charles isn't here, right? I mean, I'm not saying that he's going anywhere anytime soon, but you know what I mean.
I mean, from what we understand of the line of succession, she can't. But this is
Right.
Camilla we're talking
Right.
about. God
Exactly.
knows what she has planned, what she's going to try and pull. Her family are all in it, for the crown as well. She made sure they were, front and center for the coronation. So really, it's gonna. I feel between William and Camilla, it's
It's
gonna
gonna be
go down.
war. Yeah,
Yeah,
I
it
agree with
already
you.
is.
Yeah, they don't like each other very much, do they?
No.
Yeah, no, I can see that. I can see her attacking him definitely through her contacts though. And in
Mm,
releasing stuff, dirt that may not be we may not be privy to. I'm not going to say anything,
mm,
but we've touched on some things in here.
mm,
We have suspicions
yeah.
about, his adventures, so to speak, and his
Shenanigans.
likings and his preferences. Like, stuff can look, if you have any skeletons in your closet, no matter how long it's been, even if you just rip that little scab off a little bit, that would be enough to feed people,
Yeah,
right? Yeah,
indeed.
so she's dirty enough to do stuff like that, even if it's to detract and to try to wear him down so he loses his mind, because I don't really think William takes stress very well. I don't
No.
think he can handle it. Yeah.
He's out here swaying like a flag whenever he's stressed.
Yeah, Camilla plays mind games and she's good at moving the chess pieces. I'm in no way like lauding her whatsoever. But the woman is good at being evil, okay? That's her game. William is
Mm,
not up to her part in any means whatsoever. So I think she would be very tactical in how she would take him down and still cover her behind and watch him implode. I'm being 100% honest. She would do things to get
mm,
him to lose his marbles. I believe that.
mm,
Yeah.
indeed. Well, I guess it will all play out. Okay. Was there anything else that I wanted to? No. Okay, we'll end with your comments. Veronica, you said, I love the 12-hour podcast. Yeah, if you sat through the 12-hour podcast, you are truly an OG. I don't even know if they still have that 12-hour podcast live, because I know they privated a lot of their videos. But I will work on it, guys. Drag Tina and Michelle out of retirement. Rita, you said Sophie is besotted with Harry and wants Meghan out of the picture in her crazy dreams. In her crazy dreams. Choda Cece, you said Sophie got some palace troops are protected, use media talking points that feeds into the fertile ground for propaganda narrative, hate cells to remain relevant and to maintain control. Indeed. Listen, this is not going to go her way at all. I think more's going to come out about her, and somebody suggested that the reason she's hanging on is because she's waiting for some kind of payout. And I don't know if that's a payout for somebody paying her through the back door, or some kind of payout from she's still trying to embezzle more money potentially from Senetebale. I don't know. All right, Lightside, was anything else you wanted to say before we wrap things up?
Yeah, just really quickly, like, I mean, even if she gets the payout, wouldn't they, because she's now public, wouldn't they be able to track her transactions and figure out that there's something that happened? I don't, like, is she really that stupid to do something like that?
I think they. I think that is something that would have to go through like an actual lawsuit. Like if Harry actually decides to launch a lawsuit against her,
Mm-hmm.
that's the type of stuff that would come out um in that type of court case.
Right. Yeah,
I
they'd be
don't
able to pick
think
that up.
I think from what we've seen, the Charity Commission is absolutely useless.
Yeah, they're not doing anything for
Yeah,
sure.
you even wonder now what the point is. I mean, what it's so
Yeah.
interesting that they said that this case lowers public trust in charities, but actually, if I'm a scammer, I'm looking at this and I've never felt more confident that I can pull some kind of scam, because obviously the Charity Commission doesn't do anything. So yeah, let me just like start a scam charity,
The
or
cameras are fake. The cameras are fake. Rob the house.
exactly.
They
Or
don't
like
work.
let me just try and do a hostile takeover of a charity now, because obviously the Charity Commission's not going to do anything.
Yeah, that is asinine. I don't even get that for sure. Um, yeah.
Like what is the purpose of them then? Are they just like there for vibes? They're just there for vibes.
They're there for, yeah, for sure.
Anyway,
Yeah, and
yeah,
the only other thing I was gonna say is, like, I think Sophie's burnt her bridges. I don't know where
yeah,
else she goes after this, but them
exactly.
them bridges are burnt to a crisp. You blow on it and it will just
Yeah.
disintegrate. That's the level of burnt that is
I
there.
mean, listen, if she sold her soul, it better be for a
Hmm.
good few million, because you're right. Where does she go after this? Like, who's
Exactly.
gonna hire her? I don't know. Maybe Candace Owens is getting a bit boring now. They're gonna need a new Candace Owens. Maybe that will be her next thing. But there's no respectable organization that is going to hire this woman.
Yeah. You guys give it a couple years. It may be a slow burn, but
Yeah,
I don't think it's gonna happen all bam
yeah,
like that. But
yeah,
just wait, she's gonna pop up in the news again because she's already made herself very, very known, and we're gonna be keeping an eye on her. So
yeah,
whatever happens in the future, I imagine that this is a pattern of behavior for her that we're probably gonna see
yeah.
again. And I
Yes.
honestly, sadly, do not think she can carry this charity. I don't believe she can at all.
No, no.
So, yeah, but that's
Yeah.
all. But thank you so much for having me. Really appreciate it.
No, thank you so much for coming on, Lightside, as always. Um, I think the next thing we are going to be keeping an eye on is the next financial report for Senetebale. That is going to be very revealing. With that, thank you so much, everyone, for coming on. I appreciate you so much. I appreciate all of your comments. I finally have the. Let me just open this and have a look. There's this new feature that um YouTube added. It's like it shows you the people who hang on a sec. Shows you the people who interact the most on your live. So let's just give me a sec, folks. My phone's taken a bit long to load. I think this is a really cool feature actually. Oh yeah, it's like it's top fans. So I'm assuming it's people who like comment the most and then donate and stuff. So top 5 for today: Legans, Eleanor, Quinn, Dorothy Ross, hope you're doing well, and Sharon Chung. Thank you so much. Thank you, all of you. Appreciate it so much. And yeah, we will catch up. Look, this is gonna, like Lightside said, this isn't gonna be like a few days, a few weeks. It's gonna drag on, unfortunately, probably for some time. And in that process, Sophie Chandauka is going to be dragged like she absolutely deserves to be. I will see you later, folks. Ciao.